Hello, everyone. This is Alfredo with Real Talk, and today I actually have the pleasure of sitting down with Marisol Lopez. Marisol, how you doing today?
Fine. How are you?
Good, 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 good. Thank you for coming.
Thank you for inviting
No,
me.
thank you for taking the time. So I wanted to bring Marisol here because she funny enough she asked me like how do we contact each other? How did I reach out to her? And there's a circle of people that I know that she knows, and I went through her profile, and then I saw what she was doing. And I'm like, you know what? That's interesting. I mean, there's something that she's doing that I don't know anybody that does that. And I wanted to hear her story. I want you guys to hear her story. So first of all, thank you for being here. So tell me, where are you from? Let's
I
start there.
I'm from Los Angeles, California.
Ooh, LA. You said South Central because we had
I'm
a
from
show
South
earlier.
Central. Well, you know the nice
The nice part of
the
South
nice
Central?
way to say it is Los Angeles.
Okay, all
You know,
right.
the real way
Yeah.
is South Central LA.
All right. I was born in East LA, but I never lived in LA.
I
just
was
so you
born
know.
in Compton.
Yeah, mírala.
Yeah.
Mírala. Mexicana. De
Mexicana.
raíces mexicanas.
Yes. Uh-huh.
De Guadalajara, de Jalisco.
De Jalisco.
De
Uh-huh.
Jalisco. Both
Both
parents.
parents.
Ah, mira, jaliscienses.
Yeah.
¿Te gusta el tequila?
Me encanta. A mí no me gusta, a mí me
Me
encanta.
encanta. All right, well, thank you for being here. There's something unique that you do. And I'll be honest, I don't know anybody that does this, but you help build businesses. And other than maybe being a CPA or a multi-service company or something like that, somebody that does that full time, not only build businesses, but like literally build businesses. Can you explain what I mean by that?
Well, I'm helping entrepreneurs build empires,
Okay.
one business at a
Wow.
time. Yes.
Interesting. I'm gonna use that as a quote for my put it on the thumbnail or something. Now we were talking earlier because we had a show earlier, but we were talking about how I didn't know this about you, but you built I don't know if all, but most of the Roberto taco shops here in the valley.
Well, all of them since as of 2001 and on,
Uh-huh.
we have.
Do you guys see that?
Yeah, in Las Vegas and in Reno.
And Reno too. Okay.
Reno, Sparks, uh-huh.
Wow.
We're about to start another one. We just got the plans approved yesterday.
Okay.
So we're going to start another project, another Roberto's Taco Shop in Reno.
Nice. So let me ask you this: how did you get into this business? I know that. Let's go back a little bit. What did you do before going into that company that we talked about earlier? What did you do before?
I started working at 15 at McDonald's.
Okay.
And then at 17, I get married, and I work in an agency because I live in LA, and I'm lost. I don't know any better. I drop out of high school, and I have my little girl. And so I started working at an agency. So I work in post
Like
office.
a temp agency?
Temp agency.
Okay.
So they've moved me around everywhere.
of course.
I worked in courts, in the post office, in a lot of different office settings. And for
Administrative work.
administrative work, but for whatever reason, I didn't fit in. I felt like I didn't fit in. I was like, I don't like this. I would do the best. I was the best in whatever I did because of my dad.
Okay.
My dad would always tell me
What did he do?
he was a truck driver.
Okay.
And he has six kids. So
Okay.
he was working like
Yeah.
26
Yeah.
hours a day.
Hard worker.
Yes, very hard worker. And he would always tell me, whatever you do, you have to be your best.
Do it right.
You have to learn as much as you can. Try to be irreplaceable.
Oh, okay.
Give them
Okay.
a reason to not let you go. Give them a reason to stay on and to, promote you, whatever it is. Excel at everything and anything you do.
And what was it that was missing when you were doing all this clerical work? What did you feel was missing?
Adrenaline,
Okay.
purpose.
Okay.
Yeah.
How did you find it?
Well, at the time, my ex-husband was working at night.
Okay.
He was working like maybe 10 to 6, and then I would work during the day, so he was taking care of our daughter.
Okay.
And I would work during the day, and then he was like, you know what, I'm tired. I need to find another job. I said, okay, fine. So I would go with him, and I would help him at night. So I would have my job during the day, and then I would go to the gas station with him because that's where he worked.
Okay.
They had a little auto shop, so we would park our car inside with my little girl, and my daughter and him would go to sleep, and I would cover for him.
Oh, wow.
So he could sleep, and then next day he could go and look for another job.
Wow, that's dedication.
Yes, yes.
And commitment too, because I don't know a lot of people that would do that.
No.
But when you found out what you wanted to do, when did you find out what you wanted to do?
I didn't. I walked into it.
Okay.
Literally. So he went to look for a job, and it was this huge warehouse. Like, I had no idea what it was. So I'm walking in. I'm like, there's a lot of stuff here.
But that was him working there?
That was him looking for a job. He went to apply.
Okay.
They told him there's a person who needs a driver. So he goes and he's meeting with the owner, and I have my little girl here, because she was 1.
Yeah.
And I'm looking around like, what is this? And I can hear the phone ringing, and I could hear like people, and I was like,
adrenaline that you were looking.
I was like, what is this? And so the phone kept on ringing, and nobody would answer it. And then I looked at the owner. I'm like, do you need help in the office? And he's like, what do you mean? I said, well, no one's answering your phone. Like, do you need help? And he's like, well, are you looking for a job? I said, well, not really. I had a job. I was like, not really, but if you need somebody, why not?
Yeah.
So he's like, do you happen to have a resume with you? And I'm looking in my bag, and I'm like, why do I have a resume in my bag? So I take it out and I give it to him. I hand it over to him. And so he's looking at it. He's like, okay, come tomorrow to work.
Oh, wow.
And he told my ex-husband at the time, he's like, well, I'll call you if I need you. I'm actually not
He
looking.
gave you a job.
Yes. Yeah, he gave me a job.
That must feel bad.
Yeah. So
That's like the worst interview ever.
for him, right? Because he's very shy, but I'm not.
Yeah.
I'm completely the opposite.
I can see that. Yeah. Yeah. So you went out on the limb and said something that some people may not feel comfortable with hearing that. I mean, it was a criticism on their business, which some people reflect that.
Yeah.
And they were like, you know what, get out of my place, right? But you turn it into an opportunity.
Yes.
And I hate when the phone doesn't get answered. Like, I was in the military, and then I used to have a boss that said, like, if the phone ring, that's money.
Right.
Right? And apparently you had that vision too, and you had that in your mind too, because, if nobody's answering the phone, then what's going on?
Yeah.
So you took on that opportunity. What happened then?
Well, I started off cleaning restrooms. I started off making coffee, and clients would come in, and it was an influx of clients.
Okay.
They would want to go buy pots and pans and restaurant equipment, and I would be cleaning, and they would ask me for help, and I would help them. I didn't know what I was talking about. I didn't know what I was doing, but I knew that I wanted to help.
It was a restaurant equipment warehouse? Is that what it was? Okay.
Yeah,
All
it's
right.
a restaurant equipment and supplies.
Okay.
And then there was a fabrication shop in the back.
Okay, nice.
Manufacturing. So it was a huge warehouse.
Okay.
I'm talking about almost 20,000 square feet.
Wow. That's big. And you were just like helping people in something not even knowing,
I didn't know what I was doing,
but you figured it out.
but I figured it out.
Okay.
Yeah, I winged. I always wing it.
You know what? There's some people that actually don't have that. Like, if they don't know, they're like, well, or they see a job as a job.
Right.
Like, I'll do the very minimum, right? Because this is just pays my bills.
Yeah.
But there's people that see the opportunities. Was there something in that time? I mean, I know there is now because where you at now, but at that time, did you figure that there was something there you wanted to learn?
I always want to learn. I'm a student of life.
Okay.
I learn something every single day.
Okay.
So I've been learning since I was very young. My parents are immigrants. They didn't speak the language. When I was younger, I would translate from my mom. My mom used to sell everything under the bus: Avon, Jafra, Mary Kay, todo, every decorations, everything that you can imagine. She used to sell, and I was her translator, and I was her representative, and I was her everything.
Yeah.
Like I was her administrator at 8 years old.
Wow.
And so I would make the invoices, make the sales, package all the stuff. And my mom was like, "Hola, ¿cómo está?"
You did taxes too.
I
You did taxes.
I figured that out.
Yeah, you had to, right? Yeah.
So that's where it came from. Like, my hustle came from a very young age. I was selling candies and chips in elementary school.
Oh, wow.
I was hustling. And
You're in the corner of the building and you want some candy?
You already know.
You want some gum? Oh, yeah. So obviously, you started working in the industry of building kitchen supplies and equipment and stuff like that. And you were there for a period of time, but then you decided to move to Las Vegas. Obviously, while in California, you learned the ropes of all that. I know you mentioned earlier, we talked about it, and then they moved to Nevada, to Las Vegas, and you decided to make that move.
Yes.
To Las Vegas. Tell me about that.
Well, they opened up a branch in Las Vegas, and they were looking for people. I think originally the owners were going to send over one of the siblings and the husband. And then once my ex-husband started working a week after I started working there.
Okay, so he did get a job.
Yeah, he did get a job. And so
did you have something to do with that?
Yes.
Okay.
I persuaded them to hire him.
We need a driver.
Well, yeah, right. You guys are short drivers.
So you moved to Vegas because did you say, hey, I want to go to Vegas?
No, it's because they would see that I would stay overtime. And my ex-husband
Your
would say,
dedication.
Yes, we're very hard workers.
Okay.
I mean, aside from everything, we have very good work ethic.
Okay.
We both work hard. We know that. Again, we've done construction for a long time, so there are times where we have to fly out at 4:00 in the morning and fly back at 5:00 in the evening, and then the next day we have to go to work.
Yeah.
So we're very dedicated to our work, and the owners saw that and they said, okay, we're going to open up a branch. We want you to go run it. I was not even legal. I was not even 20. I couldn't even gamble.
You couldn't even drink.
I was like, what am I going to go to Vegas for?
You were 19, 18?
When I started, I was 19.
You were 19. And then when you came to Vegas?
I was 20.
20, wow. Wow.
Yeah.
Now, imagine the potential they seen in you in a year or two, right? I mean, it has to be remarkable for you to give that or have that big of a responsibility.
Yes.
For you and your ex-husband at the time, and move to another city with your 2-year-old now, 3-year-old. That's a big adjustment, especially for a younger couple.
Yes.
And you went on and said, yeah, we'll do it.
We'll do it, yes. Well, I think the potential, the owners, it was not only the owners, but there was a CPA in-house at the time. And so I would always pick her brain. I would be like, Donna, this and this and this and that. And she was like, okay, this is how you do it. Or this is how you do it. Because after a while, I went from doing restocking, and helping the guys with sales to answering the phones and giving them information about hoods, about processes, which, again, I didn't know. I just would start reading and listening, and I would just start repeating. And this is repetitive.
Yeah.
This is repetitive.
Estabas en todo menos en misa.
En todo, hasta en misa.
Hasta en misa estaba. Oye, so you moved to Vegas, obviously because of your potential and what you've done. And how do you... I know that company's not here anymore because we talked about it. But at what point did you decide to take on and be like, you know what? This is what I want to do for the rest of my life.
Oh,
or at least one of those, because we'll talk about that.
Well, from when I started, I said, I wouldn't mind doing this for the rest of my life.
Okay.
From the first week, it was completely, you have so many different divisions in one business.
Yeah.
And it's like new clients or different clients or even the same clients, but you talk about different things every single day. For me, that's adrenaline.
Yeah.
For me, there's a lot of movement. I'm not just in an office. I'm moving everywhere. Yeah. So I really liked it from the moment I started. It's a completely different field, and it's a different niche. Like, you don't hear this too often.
We don't, yeah. I don't. Yeah. I was surprised, to be honest.
Right. So...
I was surprised by a lot of things, I'll tell you.
So what happens is in the middle of, working with them, year 2, year 3, the business starts, selling, multi-million-dollar, like probably $5 million in year 2.
Wow.
And so then we started renegotiating a contract because at the time, coming from California, I think we were making, I'm going to say like $7 an hour. Okay. And it was not a lot. So we had our little girl. I had to pay for childcare and all these things.
This is in California?
Here.
Oh, here.
Once we moved here.
So how much were you making? If you don't mind me asking.
Like $7 an hour.
$7 an hour?
Yes.
This is back in 2001.
In 2001.
$7 an hour you were making?
Yes.
Wow. How much was your rent back then?
Oh, like $650.
That's a lot. I wish we had that shit now.
I know, right?
We can see that shit.
Yeah. So I mean, but he was smart. Yeah. What he did is he gave the down payment for a condominium, a 2-bedroom, and at the time it was enough. It was only 3 of us, and so our payment was $650. He was very smart with that because he knew he didn't have to give us a raise because he had just given us that.
Right.
You
Okay.
know,
But still $7 an hour.
$7 an hour.
So now let me ask you, and if you don't mind me asking, how much are you making right now in an average? You don't have to give me an exact number. It's over 6 digits, right?
Right.
Okay.
Right.
So how do you go from making $7 an hour? That's what I want to know. How you go from making $7 an hour to over 6-digit figure?
Skills.
Okay.
I started taking different skills. I started learning different skills.
Uh-huh.
So I learned the health department process. If you hire somebody to do the health department process, they're going to charge you about $2,000, $2,500. So these skills, not a lot of people have.
Yeah.
So I started acquiring different skills. I would go in front of the building department. I would submit the plans. I would talk to the plan reviewers, and talking to the plan reviewers in front of you, instead of waiting 6 weeks for your permits to be approved, you can get them approved over the counter.
Wow. I hear a lot of the things that you're saying from here. They all add up to about the way you are. You want to learn. You want to know what's going on around you because there's possibilities there, because there's growth there, right? What would you say to people that don't have that mentality? Like, I mean, I know there's things you can't teach, but there's something that maybe they can hear and be like, you know what? Maybe I want to be like her.
Why not?
Okay.
What's the worst that can happen?
Right?
You acquire a new skill.
Yeah. Now you can acquire new skills too, but then the question is, what do you do with them?
Right.
Right. Now you went from being an employee to owning your own business based on what you learned.
See, I've never considered myself an employee. I've never had employee mentality.
Okay.
Because even at a young age, when I was 15, I would always say, okay, well, this is what's expected of me only, But I don't want to just be doing what I'm expected. I would, even in McDonald's. I worked in the first McDonald's in South Central Los Angeles.
Really?
Yes, the very first one. So you know how chaotic that was. It's still there. It's still there. It's on Central and
well, I think they
Slauson.
only closed one, like in Oakland. I think they closed one. Yeah,
I'm
Like
surprised.
that. Yeah.
Yeah, but it was. So there was a lot of movement, and I've never had employee mentality. I always want to do more.
Is this cultural?
I have no
I think
idea.
it comes from your parents. Like, I think I do believe that we that come from other countries, Latin American countries, we have that culture of not being employees but being entrepreneurs, right? Because that's what we are in our countries. Yeah. I mean, they sell whatever. We sell whatever, right? But you had that mentality. Now you own a big business. I want to say multi, but I don't want, you own a big business. Not only that business where you build businesses, but you own other businesses, right?
I do.
Tell me about those.
I'm part of JMA Media Group.
Okay.
So we do social media marketing, social media management. We do podcasting. We do festivals. We do event planning.
Okay.
We do a lot of things.
Okay.
And then I help create other businesses for other people.
Okay.
So that's one. And then we also have Calma Retreats, which is a nonprofit organization for women.
Oh, nice.
Yes.
Tell me about that.
We offer retreats every quarter, every 3 months for women who need it. Like
a self-development, or?
It's self-development, and it's like me, I'm an entrepreneur, so my brain was everywhere, and it's still everywhere. But through finding calma, through finding mental wellness, we were able to bring this this project into life.
I was gonna ask you, like, how do you find time to do all this stuff?
A great question.
I mean, I know we have the same amount of time, you and I, but how do you find time to do all this stuff?
I wake up at 3:45 in the morning.
Okay. Workout?
Yes.
Okay, then?
And then I
go on with the day?
Well, yeah, I take my son to school.
Okay.
And then work, come home, and do whatever I have to do for calma, and then feed my son.
Okay.
Prepare for the next day.
Do you read?
I do.
What's your favorite book?
Right now, I have audiobooks.
I know, me too. I can't read anymore. I fall asleep if I read that.
Right now I'm reading the Lewis Howes. I'm into his the greatness. I'm
the greatness.
The greatness mindset.
Okay. The greatness mindset. Okay.
Yeah.
I'll look it up.
Yeah, I'm listening
Okay.
to it right now.
Would you say that's your best book, or what would you say? What would you recommend somebody to read?
Atomic Habits.
Atomic Habits. I like that. Yeah.
First, Atomic Habits.
Okay. I like that book.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think there's see, I don't believe 100% in what every single book says
Yeah.
because we all have different, different thoughts, different perspectives. But I take the best or what works for me from each book.
Yeah.
You don't have to agree 100% on all the books because I was reading I've read a lot of books, and right now, like, I can't center my head into one, but Atomic Habits.
I like it.
Yeah,
I think it's a good book.
It's a great book.
Yeah.
But also I think meditation
Mm-hmm.
and breath work helps. Frequencies help.
How many women are involved with you on Calmate?
It's 4 founders. We have 4 founders.
Okay. And then you have a group of. Give me a rough number. How many people you're getting involved now?
Right now, in the last meditation circle, which was the action board that we did, we had 60 people.
Wow.
60. We had open both men and women
Okay.
for that one. We do local free events, and then we also do the retreats.
Okay.
And we have the retreat coming up March 21st, 22nd, 23rd in St. George, Utah, for whoever wants to go. Send me a
Yeah,
message,
there
call
you go.
me.
Send them a message.
We have 45 people coming.
Oh, wow.
45 women.
Okay. And traveling.
We're traveling.
Yeah. That's good.
We drive them to Utah, take care of them
Yeah.
for 3 days. We cook for them.
Oh, nice.
Yes, we do. We pamper them because that's what the whole retreat is about.
Do you do like papas con chorizo or something? Like
I
this?
do. They call me la doñita de las
La
salsas.
doña de la-
No, I'm in charge of the kitchen.
Okay.
Amongst other things.
Well, yeah.
Amongst other things. But I love cooking.
Okay.
I do. I enjoy it a lot because I come from a big family.
Yeah.
I think my mentality comes from taking care of my siblings. We're 6 kids, and I'm the oldest girl.
Well, now you got to take care of 60 going on.
Yeah, that's great. Well, all my brothers are already married. They have kids, and when they used to come to my house, I would feed all of them.
Yeah.
I would cook for all of them.
Yeah, I didn't have that. I have to cook myself.
I do that. So we pamper the women, and they have activities. We have a therapist coming from Mexico. This time we have 2 therapists coming from Mexico.
Nice.
And it helps, like, they do constellations, family constellations. So they tell them where they go on their family tree.
Oh, wow.
And then it helps because there are a few women who want to be entrepreneurs. And right now they feel lost, right? So
What do you think is that? Now that you mention that.
why
Why are they lost? Like, what's missing right now? That somebody can feel lost.
a sense of purpose.
Okay.
Yeah. When you don't know your purpose, then you feel lost.
Yeah.
You're just walking through the world with your head down. You don't know what you're living for. Sometimes people say, I live for my kids. You should not live for your kids. Your kids live because of you.
True.
They look up to you. So you have to find yourself and you have to find your purpose so that you can lead.
What about and we'll, a couple questions here, but what about the mentality of building something, working hard to live to your kids?
That's very powerful, but you should not
Okay.
do something and leave it for your kids. Your kid might not want to do it.
Right.
Want anything to do
That's
with
the
your
second
business.
time I heard that.
I tell my kids that all the time. I have 3 kids.
Yeah.
My oldest is 26 now. The middle one is 21, and my son is 13. My daughter, the oldest one, she's taking a course for medical billing or coding, not billing, coding. And at one point, she would work with me in the office, and I would tell her, you know what, I want you to learn because I want you to do this. I want you to take over the company. At one point, I'm going to want to retire.
Yeah.
And she's like, first of all, you're never going to retire. Second of all, I want nothing to do with your company. I said,
happens.
why not? Like, because it's too much stress and I don't like it.
Yeah.
It's not for me and it's not for everybody.
Yeah, it is. That's true.
It's a male-dominated field. It's construction.
How does that feel? You saying that it's a male-dominated field. I mean, I'm very proud of you. Trust me. Like, I think what you've done from what we talked about it's amazing. But you said something that, it's perception too, and people perceive it that way. It's a male dominating thing, construction.
Yes.
But you've done it.
Mm-hmm.
Why can't somebody else do it like you?
I don't know why.
What's that fear? What's there?
It's the fear of just being intimidated by men, and I don't see it that way. I grew up. I have 4 brothers, and I have lots of male cousins. So I grew up around men. So for me, men don't intimidate me. I kind of, we both have masculine energy.
Yeah.
So for me, it's nothing. I can talk to a man just as well as I can talk to a woman. Actually, I used to be intimidated by women
It happens.
because I was not used to that.
Okay.
Right now, no. No.
Yeah, that te vale.
Yeah, me vale.
Yeah,
yeah,
ta madre.
Yeah. Ta madre, right? And because in high school, it was that. I was around nothing but males, my brothers, their friends. And so girls would intimidate me because, they would want to pick fights with me because I was around nothing but men.
Yeah.
So for me, it's not intimidating. For other women, I think it's that. The fact that sometimes men and their characters overpower women. And sometimes when an idea comes from a woman and the same idea comes from a man, they will take it from the man, even though it's the same thing.
It still happens.
It still happens.
Okay.
It still happens. And I think that's what they're afraid of. They're afraid of rejection mainly.
And what would be the change of that? Like, how can that perception be changed in a woman's perspective?
Well,
Do you think it's time?
it's been time.
Well, I mean, no, I'm saying that. Do you think it will take time for that to happen, or you think there's something that us as men and you as women have to do to make sure that there's equality there?
I don't think there will ever be equality. Obviously, men are stronger than women, like physically. So there will never be equality. But I feel like it doesn't happen. There's not more equality because women don't take that chance.
Okay. I can see that.
Yeah, women don't take that chance.
That, yeah.
And again, not a lot of things intimidate me. Not a lot of things scare me.
Yeah.
So for me, it's nothing. But right now, I think we're at a point where women can make that change.
Yeah.
Say, why not? Why not? I see women in the field. Like I've seen women in construction. I've seen women
roofers,
welding,
paintings,
roofers. So I
agree.
think there has been a big shift where women are like, okay, if I don't move, I don't eat.
Yeah.
Slow feet don't eat.
Yeah.
Right?
True.
So I think at this point, and I've seen more women, also truck drivers. I've seen women in careers where you wouldn't see it before because women had to be at home. Women
and that changed.
And that has changed
good.
throughout the years. And I'm glad. I'm glad. So I think at this moment, I don't see many women with that fear. Well, there are, but not as many.
Yeah.
Like now, I think we're living in a world where women are taking the chance.
Yeah.
And it's all about that. It's just about taking the chance.
I agree with you.
Whether it works out for you or not, just take the chance.
But you took a chance.
Yeah.
You probably did more than a lot of them, or most of them, right? Because you took a chance. And that's already doing more.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So I said, I'm proud of you.
Thank you.
Thank you for what you do. Supporting the community, obviously, and supporting businesses and, entrepreneurship and all this. I like that and I embrace that. And that's why I wanted to sit down with you. But for your last message, what would you say to the community, to entrepreneurs, to people thinking that maybe they can do it, thinking that they can build their own business, or maybe thinking that they can't afford it, or thinking that they don't know where to start? What would you say to them?
My message to anyone who wants to take the chance is surround yourself with the right team. Your team can make or break you, and you have to just surround yourself with people who are knowledgeable in the field that you want to go into, and just take that step. And it's every day, movement every single day. Consistency is the key. There's no such thing as having a bad day in business. A lot of days can be bad days, but you just have to keep on going. And it's the same thing as if you were working for somebody. You would still show up to work every single day. That's it.
That's it. Marisol Lopez, Alfredo Rosales. See you guys in the next one. Show.